Hello, everybody, and welcome to That Tom Clancy Show. I am, of course, your host, Mr. That Tom Clancy. Thank you all for joining us on this Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday morning here. I don't know how the weather is over by you, but here it's kind of cloudy. Looks like it's going to rain. I wouldn't mind. It'll break the heat. So thank you all for joining us. It's lovely to see you all in that way that I can't actually see you because that would be creepy. Liam, good to see you. Today we've got a couple special guests. It's not too often that we get gold medalists here on the show, mostly because it's a plucky little internet show and I don't know any Olympians. But our guests today are two of the people behind last month's gold medal winning game, Dorfromantik, for #Picture Game Awards. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bits and Pixels, please join me in welcoming Zvi and Timo from Dorfromantik. Hey, guys.
Heyo.
How's it going?
Going good. How are you?
Nice.
Now that all the tech issues are sorted out, I'm doing a lot better.
That's cool.
Yeah, we had a bit of technical problems this morning, which explains the roughly 2-minute delay. I apologize. I'm not going to say it won't happen again because it's not the kind of thing I control. So, but closest to me, as you see on screen, is Timo, and at the far end is Zvi. I hope I'm pronouncing that anywhere near correct.
Yes, perfect.
Word. So, welcome to the show, guys, and congratulations again on the gold medal.
Thank you. We were pretty surprised, we have to say, but of course it's a very cool thing.
Yeah, thank you a lot.
Oh, no problem. Don't thank me. Thank Liam, who's out there in chat.
Yeah.
I didn't vote.
Yeah. Oh, Liam. Yeah. Howdy, Liam.
Yeah, I'm a non-voting member of the team. I just want to do my silly internet show. And then they were like, do your silly internet show for us. And I was like, okay. I mean, it was a bit cooler than that. I make it sound kind of silly, but it was, a little cooler. For everybody who's here who's unaware of the game, there is a demo available on itch.io, but maybe you two would be so kind as to let people know more about Dorfromantik.
Sure, Timo, do you want to start?
Okay. Yeah, so we're two people of the 4-man studio called Toukana, and Dorfromantik will be our first commercial game we do as a team. It's a minimalistic village building strategy puzzle game where you build a village landscape by placing tiles on a board. And the original prototype came to be in Ludum Dare 46 in March, I think, or April.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, since then we've been working on the project and working on the foundation of our company. And we're really excited that people seem to like what we're doing and that there's so much interest in our first game.
Yeah.
Nice. So where did you said you originally made the game for Ludum Dare. I've never actually done a Ludum Dare. I've done like game jams and stuff over the years. But does Ludum Dare usually have a theme to go with it as well, like a standard game jam?
Yeah.
What was the theme?
What was the theme?
The theme was Keep It Alive. And Timo is a pretty experienced game jammer. We actually studied game design together here in Berlin. And this is also how us four know each other, because we studied in the same group, you know? Yeah. And since we are all now finished with a bachelor's degree, we also did some jams and some projects out of school together. And Timo took part in Ludum Dare several times before. And
10th
Yeah.
time now.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the topic this time was to keep it alive, and we started thinking about the project based on this theme, but now the project isn't that close to the theme anymore. We decided to ditch the theme for better gameplay, I guess.
I mean, I'd say that that's probably a safe decision and a quality
Yeah.
decision. And
Yeah.
whoa, guys, I don't know how this is working out here because you are right here, but it seems that Toukana Interactive is also in the chat.
Oh,
How are you all in multiple places at once?
Interesting.
yeah. So
Uh,
there are
I
two.
guess that's one of our other team members.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have
So
a
there are-
comment in chat right now from Loop Owl saying Dorfromantik is the coolest game of all time. Change my mind. Not on the show where they're guests, because that would be rude. But come on any other day.
and we would have some answers.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, look, don't get me wrong. Your game is cool. Coolest of all time.
Yeah.
That's
I
a tough
I
one.
also would say there are so many awesome games out there. But of course, thank you very much. We are happy to make it a great game and make people happy when they play it.
Nice.
Yeah. So the people in the chat are probably our two teammates that aren't here, aren't in this call. It's Sandro Heuberger and Luca Langberg, just to mention them as well.
Hi,
And
guys.
they're actually developing right now while we
Yeah.
do this podcast.
We
Hey,
are the
hey.
two lazy guys, you know.
No, you're
and the
not
other
lazy.
ones
You're just
do all the
doing
work.
different work. You know, like I have a bit of a background in game development, and I have an excellent background in spin. So you're not being lazy. You are being proactive in your marketing.
Exactly.
So it might appear easy, but that just means that I'm doing my job very well. So that's what's going on, guys. You can
Alright.
think whatever you want, but they're working really hard right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So okay. Where did you come up with the name Toukana from? Or Toukana? Because I mean, I don't speak German clearly, but it is very similar to the tropical bird, the toucan. And yeah, so where'd it come from?
Yeah. See, you want?
Yeah, well, when we started out and knew we wanted to create our own company, we thought about a lot of different names and kind of like the idea of having a bird as the company mascot. And we thought of a different name before, but didn't feel too comfortable with it because we know of another company who maybe do some legal stuff because having a similar name would be a problem. And so we looked around and we decided on the toucan because we just like the bird and it's a really very iconic bird, iconic mascot. And then we started iterating on what could we do with the name or with the word toucan. And so we landed on Toukana Interactive and created this pink toucan.
Wow, I was accidentally 100% on point.
Exactly.
Nice. You know, I can think of two other companies that use the toucan as their mascot. The first is, of course, Guinness, as they've used it over the years. And then the second is I don't know if you guys have it, but there's a breakfast cereal here in the U.S. called Fruit Loops with Toucan Sam.
Yeah.
And he was a big part of my Saturday morning cartoon watching experience. Because his commercials were everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we of course know Toucan Sam too. We have
Nice.
Kellogg's and the whole lineup of cereals here too in Germany. And yeah, so we know of him. And we also heard about there was like a big lawsuit, like Kellogg's against a Mexican non-profit organization. They had the toucan as their mascot, and then they had a huge conflict, but they settled in the end. So yeah, I guess we're safe.
Yeah. Just stay small. You should be fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
I
know.
mean, you guys have German laws protecting you. They're probably very well thought out and worded very precisely.
Yeah.
I mean,
At least we hope so.
I mean, if it's anything like your train systems or your engineering, it's gonna be pretty well on point.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, we kind of have this reputation around the world.
yeah, you, Switzerland, and Japan.
Yeah.
And from my personal experience, minimal as it is, your trains do run amazingly on time.
I would go as far as to say that we are of a different opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I would say you're of a different opinion because you're used to a higher quality of service.
I guess we just
Yeah.
don't know better, I guess. Yeah.
I've never been to Japan, but my wife went for several weeks a few years ago, and she was telling me that if a train was something around the neighborhood of 15 seconds delayed, the conductor would apologize to all of the passengers. And I'm just like, dude, if it was 15 seconds delayed here in the States, nobody would notice.
Yeah, well, it's not like that in Germany either. I've been to Japan last year as well, and yeah, it's a lot more punctual, everything. And yeah, in Germany, there's often train delays as well.
Well, I feel from my outsider perspective, y'all need to relax. Your delays are
guess.
fine.
Yeah, I guess it's not the worst here.
That said, though, my experience with the buses in Lubeck when I was there, bus drivers need to calm down. Because dude got very upset with my wife. Because in the States, when you hop on a bus, you put your money in the machine yourself. You know, you just walk up, you put in your bill, your coins, or whatever, and the bus driver's like, "Cool, be on your way." We didn't know that the bus driver at least in Lubeck, wanted to then put it on like a little like tray, and then they would put the coins in the machine. And so my wife just like starts putting the stuff in the machine, and he's all like, "Whoa, you need to calm down." And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, "Whoa, you need to calm down." But
in the end, you guys
we got on the bus.
Agreeing.
Yeah, we got on the bus. Thankfully, she speaks German. I just was like sitting there just like, why are people raising voices? We're just trying to get on a bus. But, oh well, everybody's different.
Yeah, I mean, I guess lots of rules here are a bit weird to people from other countries sometimes.
Yes.
And because most things are like, you have the structure and things are usually this way, and when somebody else isn't used to that, it's always a bit difficult, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we're Americans. We play fast and loose with all the rules. It's why we're number one in COVID cases.
Yeah.
See, I'm allowed to make the joke because I'm from here.
That's good.
Yeah. And if I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying. But, you know, that's not what we're here to talk about. Wear your masks. But so what are some of the inspirations behind Dorfromantik? Because at least from my perspective, looking at it from the first time, I was like, this looks like Settlers of Catan. That's just because it was on a hex grid, and you had like towns and mountains and stuff. But spoiler, I've never played Settlers of Catan either. But I did play the demo of Dorfromantik, so I did at least do that.
Yeah. So it's true. I mean, Settlers of Catan is a German game as well, German board game, and we all like this game. But also board games in general are just, I think, a big inspiration for us. There are many tile placing board games, and so we try to capture some of that board game feel with Dorfromantik, but also there are a few other things that inspired us, like especially regarding the setting. All comes from us all growing up at the countryside. So the name of the game, Dorfromantik, is a term that describes a feeling of like a countryside atmosphere, romantic atmosphere, and just the calmness. And that's fitting game for what we want to display in our game, actually.
Yeah, it's like a nostalgia for the countryside, and all of us four, we grew up in the countryside for a big part of our lives. So we really have this certain connection to the countryside, to nature, and somehow that's also something which really translated into the game in a way. And we really want to keep this idea and bring it to people in a way. Yeah.
Nice. Kind of like a rural version of Tetris.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to see it.
Yeah, I will say that your feeling is alien to me. I grew up in a very country area, and now I live in a city, and I don't think I could go back.
Mm. Yeah, well, we all of us four live in a big city too now, but sometimes we go back to where we came from. And I, for myself, for example, I always miss the sea. For example, I grew up near the sea in the north of Germany, and I always like to go back there. And the typical landscape of fields and little forest parts and some small villages, that's really something which translated into the aesthetics of the game. Yeah.
But I think for what we are doing now, living in a big city, living in Berlin is the best. So there's so much going on, and so many other game developers in Berlin. So yeah, for our situation right now, I'm really glad that we don't live on the countryside.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that one. I will say though that your northern German by the sea winters are surprisingly cold, and because they're not like cold like I'm used to, but it's just because you're right there by the sea and there's all that like kind of humidity. It just leaches the heat right out of you, and that sucks.
Yeah, it can be pretty harsh in the north of Germany. That's true.
It's kind of ridiculous because I'm used to the winters out here in the Midwest, which which basically from like early November until mid March, it's below freezing. And then from mid December through the end of February, it's generally well below freezing. But yeah, there's just something, just something about that like slightly damp winter that's just, ugh, just don't want to deal with it.
You really need your tea and a nice fire in the fireplace. Then it's nice.
Replace the tea with a cup of coffee, and I'm all there.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice.
That said, though, there is also nothing to do with games, but has to do with very many episodes of the show. You do have a certain street food item that's done very well in Germany that is not done as well anywhere else. And that's Doner. I've heard that Berlin Doner is the best. But I will say that what I tried in Lübeck was amazing, and enough to make me just like want to go to Berlin just for Doner.
Yeah,
So-
it's a pretty famous thing here, and we have so many different Doner Kebab restaurants that even in Berlin you can ask 10 different people, and 10 different people will say, oh yeah, the shop next to my place is the best one in Berlin, and the other person has a totally different opinion. So you can really taste a lot of different flavors here.
Yeah.
The place where I lived before, and also in Berlin before I moved, there were, I think, 4 dinner places in one street, basically 50 meters apart from each other.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, but it's also there's huge differences in the quality of the
Yeah.
dinner, so you
Yeah.
don't want to eat at some of those places, but some of these are really good. You
Well,
just have to know where to go.
well,
Yeah.
if I ever end up in Berlin, I'll shoot you guys a message. I'll
Yeah,
ask
man.
for your picks.
Yeah, should
Because
definitely hit us up.
oh hell yeah, man. Yeah, we'll like go get some dinner and then like you guys can have some tea and I'll have some coffee and we'll have a fun time. Just don't take me to the east side of the city because I don't think I'm welcome over there. I'm kidding.
Oh, really? You think?
No, I'm just making jokes. I'm pretty positive that I
course,
should
I got it.
never go to Russia though. I'm like 900% positive that I will never come home.
Mhm.
Not because like I would want to stay in Russia, but because of like family things, I don't think that I would be allowed to leave.
Uh-huh. Do you have like a family feud or anything?
Well, my dad did write a series of novels in which Russia was very frequently the villain.
Ah, okay.
So there's that. And Putin strikes me as the kind of guy who holds a grudge.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, he's a pretty interesting personality, I would say.
yeah, I bet you he doesn't like Doner though.
That's a good question. I don't know.
We should call him up. Be like, hey, Putin, how you like that Doner kebab? No, you don't? Cool. Thought you were garbage anyway. Goodbye. So, but yeah, if you're ever in Germany, get Doner kebab. It's delicious. It's like if like Euro was better. Or like if you're familiar with shawarma, it's similar to shawarma but very different. That said, though, you guys rule on Doner kebab. Denmark rules on shawarma.
Mm-hmm.
Best shawarma place in the world is in Copenhagen, hands down.
Okay.
So, all right, we should probably talk more about your game. Timo is looking either very hungry or very cross with me. I don't know which one.
Just I find it a little bit funny that we're talking about all the food right now.
Look,
Maybe I'm
man,
getting a bit hungry from that.
I haven't been to Germany in almost 9 years, and I'm still thinking about the Doner kebab, okay? So that's why we're talking about this.
When you really come here, we can show you some of the really good places.
Nice. Yeah, because honestly, Berlin is on my list. I mean, everything I've heard. It's a wonderful city, and yeah, it's there. It's I've been to Paris. I've been to London. I haven't been to Italy, but whatever. In Germany, it's like, especially because apparently I have a fair bit of German heritage, though according to 23andMe, it's Bavarian, which, as I understand, is very far away from Berlin. But still, I could pretend for a little bit that I'm from that I'm an actual German American, and have some fun with some German folk.
Mm-hmm.
And eat some Doner kebabs and other food. But yeah.
You should also try currywurst,
Oh my God,
when
currywurst is
you're
so good.
here.
Oh, I did. And you guys have like prepackaged curry ketchup too. Oh my God. You, you all know how to eat.
Mm.
It's that simple.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we don't eat that much German food. Actually,
I mean, yeah, I don't eat that much like American food. I don't eat just
Yeah.
like burgers and French fries every day.
yeah,
It's funny that I threw burgers at you when they come from Germany. That yeah, there's really no American food I could throw at you that isn't rooted in German tradition. So let's talk about Dorfromantik. Uh,
Yeah, I mean that it fits when we talk about crops and stuff, So it's
yeah.
a
Um.
good segue.
Yeah. Exactly. I am excellent at these segues and getting distracted by other things. So you've mentioned, or you mentioned earlier that part of your inspiration for this is that kind of nostalgia for the countryside. And that's definitely, I mean, that shows. We didn't talk poutine yet. We're not talking about poutine because they're not from Canada, but poutine is great, Lupal. But you know this. You want to talk about poutine? Hit me up on Twitter at Thom Clancy. Remember the H; it's very important. Yeah. So, while playing through Dorfromantik, is there like kind of in the demo? It's very kind of freeform, and that you have some objectives, but so long as you're kind of just building and moving forward, I get the sense that it's more just about creating. So is that kind of is the goal of the game more just to give the player this opportunity to just kind of build this village however they see fit, or is there more of like kind of a meta goal to it?
yeah. So we are currently working on restructuring the core system actually. So there's a few big changes that will happen to the prototype. So the game that we will release next year will be a lot different than the version on itch.io. And one part is there will be a lot more challenge to the game. And I mean, the balancing of our prototype isn't that great at the moment, but also the quests get really repetitive and so on. There's not really a long-term motivation. So we want to introduce a lot more in that regard, but we also want to keep this feeling of just building a beautiful landscape. So we want to do both, and we will probably also provide a creative mode or free build mode where you can just build beautiful landscape if you like. But it's definitely important to us to have the core game loop more motivating and yeah, give you more of a challenge than the prototype does.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, the prototype was a bit limited in a way by the frame of the Ludum Dare competition, I would say, because you need to create something in 3 days. So the underlying system was a bit limited by us at first, but we then knew we wanted to improve on this and make it a little bit bigger. So now, for example, players can rotate the tiles and not only place them, but you have more control now over how to build your landscape, for example. And also the way the quests work will be a little bit different. Although you will still have these tasks to work towards, but there will be different kinds, for example, small ones like in the prototype, but also bigger ones which take you maybe a whole gaming session or something like that.
Nice.
And so the game will come with a little bit more content, but also with a different way of giving you an interesting experience every time you start it up. So it's not too repetitive and always the same.
Well, for everybody who might just be joining us or joined us in the last few minutes, I'm sitting here talking with Timo and Svi of Toukana, of Toukana, and they're talking about their game Dorfromantik, which was last month's hashtag Pitch Your Game Awards gold medal winner. Yeah, it's so many words involved in all that. And of course, at any time, if any of you in the audience have any questions for either of them, please don't hesitate to type them up in chat. I can read them right here on my silly laptop, and will be absolutely more than happy to pass them along. Well, it's very good to hear, because that was one of the concerns I had in playing the prototype, which is on itch, and it did kind of feel a little, directionless, which I know some people really enjoy those kinds of games, like the people who can sit and play Animal Crossing for hours and hours and hours. I'm not one of those people, but there's a zen to those kinds of games, if you will.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
yeah, this meditative feeling is really also something we want to encourage, but also keep the game loop or the motivation going. But yeah, as you mentioned that you played the demo or the prototype on itch.io, we received a lot of feedback for that actually. And before we started working on the new version, we went through all the feedback and also did a test session with a bunch of other friends and people we know. So we gathered just a lot of feedback and figured out what were the core issues people have with the game or what they want the game to be. And then also, of course, we have our own ideas and our own vision, but we noticed that many things people want to see in the game is also things that we want to see in the game. So yeah, but that's how we came to our vision that we are working towards now.
Nice.
So yeah, the final game won't have the issues that the prototype has, but it was a good basis to get to gather all this feedback and yeah, to get people interested and so on.
No, absolutely. I think it's one of the things that people who haven't worked in game development before kind of underestimate, is how important that early feedback can be, especially for an indie team, because indie games kind of live and die on their game loop. And if, the core gameplay loop isn't really fun, people aren't going to play it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so one, awesome that you're getting feedback, and two, even better that you're responding to said feedback. So you guys are all right. You're pretty cool. So how the kind of question that I kind of have to throw out there is, how has last month's Pitch Your Game experience, has that had any direct effect on how you've been developing the game and getting that more awareness out there and getting more attention to it?
Yeah, well, it definitely created a spike in people getting to know about the game. So I'm mostly doing the social media stuff for us, and there was definitely a spike in interest, and we heard of many different people, got many different comments, and also some DMs from some people about the game and where we are heading with it and so on. So it was definitely very interesting and a surprising amount of feedback we got through the Pitch Your Game Award. Yeah.
Yeah, there's also a few like publishers and so on that contacted us afterwards. So yeah, that probably helped a lot to make them notice our game, I guess.
Well, I'm happy to hear that for sure, because like, there are a lot of cool games that show up for Pitch Your Game, and I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to you, but really the whole part of the hashtag and everything is to help bring that attention to games, like yours, like pretty much everybody who's been on the show for the last 2 weeks. Because my personal standpoint on it is that it's the indie space right now that is helping to move the medium forward, because you all have the latitude and the freedom to really just try new and interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you couldn't ask Electronic Arts or Activision or Ubisoft or any of the hardware manufacturers. Well, maybe you could ask Nintendo, but you couldn't go to Sony and say, "Hey, I have this idea for a town building game where it's kind of like Tetris but with like hex panels." They'd be like, "Okay, cool, you're dumb. Go back to making The Last of Us." But in the indie space, you can go to your team of a few people and go, "Hey, let's make a game about building a town with hex panels." And it becomes all right, cool, how do we make this fun? And you did. And now here we are, and you're planning on releasing the game next year, if memory serves.
Yep. Probably Q1.
Oh, wow. That's like really close.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking.
Our plan is to be really quick with the initial version of the game. We have so many more ideas that we would like to add at some point, and but from our previous experiences, we learned that it's a good thing to go public with the game soon, so that you can receive this early feedback, see how well the game does, and then there's a lot of other opportunities coming up with the release. So yeah, our plan is to create a smaller version of the game first and then expand upon it. That's the plan.
Nice. So get it out there for people to enjoy in its core capacity and then continue to give them new things.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I speak... oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it was a good point what you said before about being able to try new things and innovate, that's also, I think, one of the main reasons why we four guys started this company, because we wanted to continue doing innovative stuff or trying things which we are maybe not always sure about works, but iterate on them and really find what works, without always taking things or doing things which were already done before. So for us, it's super interesting and important to make something creative and innovative, So yeah, I also think that indie games at the moment are the driving force for innovative game design,
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Dude, I love talking with indie devs because it's always fun because it's people who are making the games because they love the games. And that's not to say that people in AAA aren't also making games because they love games. Individually, a lot of people in AAA absolutely do. But at the end of the day, it's a business in games as opposed to games in hopes of being a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's it's always awesome. And this is a question I've really never asked. It just kind of comes up naturally. But when you guys were younger, like, what were the games you grew up playing? Like, what are the games that helped make you into the developers you are?
So it's an interesting question. What I noticed that the games that I liked to play the most when I was younger were games that are close to actually making games. So basically creative games of some sort. I loved Spore or the tycoon games like Zoo Tycoon or The Sims, but also I like the strategy games, StarCraft, Age of Empires, where you have the level editor, so you can create your own scenarios. But yeah, also I think one aspect is this creative side of games, but also I really enjoyed strategy games and also turn-based strategy games. There was this Final Fantasy Tactics. I liked that a lot.
Final Fantasy Tactics is a personal favorite of mine.
Oh, yeah.
And I want an HD remaster, not a remake. I want an HD remaster of that real bad.
Yeah, it was a great game. Also really beautiful.
Oh yeah, like as I said, a remaster, not a remake.
Mm.
You know, like no offense to the Final Fantasy VII remake, but I just, you know, like there are games of my childhood that are perfect or near perfect, and it's because of how they were, not because of how I remember them being. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does. I played mostly Game Boy games when I was smaller because I didn't have any consoles. But
Game
what
Boy
I
was a
always feel
console.
like is, huh?
Game Boy was definitely a console.
That was the only one I had. And I had a PC, so I was a PC gamer and like Game Boys, you know. And I played stuff like Need for Speed Underground. This game we talked about before starting the stream. It's called Patrician 2. It's like a strategy game taking place in the area of the Baltic Sea. And yeah, Zoo Tycoon was also great by Microsoft Game Studios, I think. Yeah, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. Don't know if you know that.
Oh, that's the only game in the Dark Forces line I ever legitimately beat. Because all those games
legitimately what?
Beat, like completed.
Beat. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, going back to the first game in that series, Dark Forces, they went by the tried and true method of making a game longer by making the maps into ridiculous mazes that were hard to solve. And it wasn't until Jedi Academy that they kind of became aware of that and just made the game challenging by making the game just challenging. But I would like to think that growing up playing games that were effectively three-dimensional hate you mazes, that has helped me develop a strong sense of direction.
I feel the same way.
Also, the original Halo was kind of bad at that in a couple of levels as well. But I will forever love that game.
Yeah, something I also find really fascinating is that back in the old days, when you released a game on a module or something, like on a cartridge, then it really had to be really, really good, you know? Like it had to be flawless without bugs and everything. And of course, there were also bad games around, but it's just something, it's incredible nowadays. I think that huge games come out and the first thing you do is download 20 gigabytes of a first day patch or anything.
Oh, God.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate the day one patch so much. Real quick though, Liam, thank you for being here. Enjoy your tea. We'll talk to you soon. Liam has to dash. He's wishes you all the best from everybody on Team Pitch Your Game. And then IRB Chad, thank you for the cheer. That's awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
Liam.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Liam.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought in the Liam thing there. We'll just assume that it was something really awesome and I actually said it. So let's, in a few seconds, let's all just pretend I said something really profound. So 3, 2, 1. Yeah. You know, it really makes you think. Also, thank you guys for going with that. Real talk, guys. This audience these guys are pretty awesome. So, all right. Yeah. So, where to from here for you all? Aside from the obvious, get back to work and get the game out for Q1 next year.
Yeah, well, our plan is to continue making games. So, of course, we are working hard on Dorfromantik to make it a good game when we release it. And that, of course, we hope that people like it and that it gives us a base to continue working on. But of course, we also have some other ideas, some other projects we have in our backlog, which we would like to tackle in the future. And for example, when we started to throw around some ideas and to decide on which project to start with, luckily the Ludum Dare came up, so we made a game for that, and this is the game we are working on right now. But we also had some different ideas. And these are also pretty cool, and we would like to explore these further in the future. And we hope to stay on screen and create more games. Timo,
Nice.
do you have something to add?
No, I think you said it well. It's really exciting for us that even in this early stage, Dorfromantik already seems to gain a lot of attention and people seem to like it a lot. So we're really looking forward to the future of the project. But and also what we don't know where the journey will head for us with Dorfromantik, but we're really positive about it, and we're really glad that we found each other as a team because the teamwork is great. But yeah, it's just the beginning for us, making games in a commercial games in a professional capacity, and it's really exciting. Great, yeah. Really, we're really optimistic looking in the future.
Nice. Well, I hope it goes without saying, but I of course wish you all the most success, reasonable amount of success. I don't want you taking other people's success too, but I hope that you have enough that you're able to continue on and make something new. After Dorfromantik, obviously. Because the more indies that we have in the space, the broader of a pool of games that we the players have to pull from, the better experience we're going to have, especially of quality games, because you guys don't strike me as the kind of people who would just do a Unity asset flip. Like, you guys, pardon my language, but you give a shit is basically what it comes down to. And that speaks very highly of whatever you're making. You don't just want to make a game, you want to make a good game. You want to make a game that players are going to want to come back to. And yeah, you care about what you do. And that's awesome. Because there are a lot of people who are just in it for a paycheck. And I get a very strong feeling that's not you. So, not that there's anything wrong with wanting a paycheck. Paychecks are nice. They pay for internet bills. But at the end of the day, yeah. So, unless I have any questions there from the audience, I think it might just be time.
There's one thing I wanted to add, and it fits to what you said right now, because we all come from the same study program. We all studied in Berlin at HTW. It's the High School for Technology and Economy. It's called HTW in German. And I guess our philosophy, like how we tackle making games and our passion and everything, is also a result from studying there. and they supported us throughout our bachelor's degree and are also supporting us now. We are actually incubators there, and it's just feels right to name them here. I posted a link in the chat. Maybe you can post it in the official chat, just in case somebody has the idea of studying how to make games in Germany. I mean,
well, here, if
you
you
can
want
apply
to
there,
continue
and it's
talking about it for a second, I'm not using this opportunity of having you two as the main on camera to step over to my real computer and post all of this. So that's exactly not at all what's happening right now. But
okay.
just continue talking about the
Yeah,
program.
sure. Yeah. We, all of us four, we are actually studying at HTW in Berlin right now in the master's degree. And so we are creating games and are able to study and learn more about it, and have a lot of different opinions of all the other students who study game design there too. And it's just a really great environment to start. Timo,
Nice.
what do you have
Yeah,
to say?
I agree. Good that you mentioned it here. I mean, I don't know if maybe someone is listening who wants to study making games. Yeah, we have a few people also in our university who are from different countries, so it's not only Germans. But yeah, we're really glad we did it, and we're really glad to be here. And I think what we are doing right now, like really putting all our passion into this one project, is only possible because we get all the support from there. Yeah, so definitely check it out if you're interested in making games.
Awesome.
And yeah,
And interested in Döner and Currywurst in
yeah,
Germany.
can eat dinner every day.
Real talk, my American friends out there. Doner Kebabs and Currywurst are freaking amazing. And like honestly, I could go on and on about food from every country I've ever been to, because every country has at least one dish that they make like nobody else. And that's not the only thing that Germany has to offer food wise. Like, Germany's got good food. It's just the truth of it. But those like two kind of like street foods, oh my God, worth going to Germany for. So, but there is a very important thing here, and that is that Fictional Cat has redeemed 1,000 channel points for each of you to dab.
Ooh.
So,
How do we do it?
you know, like if you guys want to do like a team dab, I can do a countdown for you.
Okay.
All right.
Team Day.
Are you ready, Timo? Do you feel ready for this?
Oh man.
You need a second.
Okay, that's fine. We'll take a second. For
right.
once, I don't actually have to, which is fine. But even though I don't have to, I will still do one to help make you guys feel a little bit more comfortable.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So,
so you can do the countdown. I feel ready.
All right, gentlemen. In 3, 2, 1, go. Man, that's like 2 days straight of like excellent guest dabs. This is wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this week the Instagram video will be the excellent guest dabs. A couple weeks ago, it was the episode where chat made me dab like a dozen times, which was silly. Oh no, okay, you're back. Whew. Thought we were losing you there for a second. Oh no, you just sent a text message or something. It's like trying to run an entire show off of this one silly laptop. It's not the easiest. So, well, then it is now definitely time for the 5 questions. So, for anybody who's new to the channel, or for you guys, just in case you're not familiar, the 5 questions are 5 questions that have nothing to do with anything we've talked about prior to this point in the interview. Actually, like one of them does have something to do with what we've been talking about previously. But for the most part, nothing to do with it. So they're really just for me and you to get a better idea of who our guests are, and for me to secretly judge them because a few of them have wrong answers to me. So without further ado, gentlemen, question number 1. Who would win in a fight, Batman or Iron Man?
Ooh. I would have to say Iron Man.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I think, yeah, from what I saw in the movies or know from from the Marvel universe, he has a lot up his sleeve. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's also not forget that Batman routinely beats up Superman.
That's true.
Yeah, but Superman is also pretty lame.
Wow. Okay then.
But also in the last Avenger movie, Iron Man saved the whole world, right? So I don't know, that must count for something.
It does, but I would also I would counter with this, that Thanos is kind of a ripoff of the DC villain Darkseid, but less powerful. And Batman has beaten Darkseid on multiple occasions.
I see.
So, but hey, you're entitled to your opinion. It's wrong, but you're entitled to it. So, question number 2. Do ogres have layers like an onion or a parfait?
I'm actually not sure what is the second thing.
Yogurt parfait. It's like a layered fruit and dairy breakfast thing that is a thing in the US.
Okay.
It's just a Shrek joke.
Yeah, so I go with the onions.
Okay.
Just layers of skin on top of each other.
All right. Question number 3.
I watched the Shrek movies, so yeah, but I'm not sure.
I'm trying to think how something like that would even translate over into German, but
yeah, I guess that's sorry to disappoint. I think I'd take number 2.
Okay. If it's any consolation, you already disappointed on the first question. So question number 3. What is the last book that you read?
Well, for me, it's one of the Game of Thrones books. I actually have it here. I have to see which title. I think it's the 4th one.
Is that a Feast for Crows, I think?
Oh no, it's The Storm of Swords Part 1.
Oh, then that's the 3rd one then.
Oh, okay. Oops. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I read the first 3 and then about 5 chapters of the 4th, and I was like, nope, I'm done.
Okay, so I still have some parts to read before.
Yeah.
I thought Storm of Swords was very good. So
yeah, for me, the last book was also a fantasy book from Brandon Sanderson.
okay.
I just looked it up. It's from the Stormlight series. It's a really good series as well.
I know the series. I haven't read it. I'm more of a science fiction guy. I used to work at a bookstore, so I read a lot of books.
In case you heard of it, there's this new movie called Archive. It's in the cinemas in the US right now. It's from the production designer who did the production design for Moon. If you're a science fiction lover, I guess you saw Moon, I guess.
Oh yeah,
right?
no, Moon is amazing.
Yeah, and the production designer he made his own movie, and it's in the cinemas right now.
You said it's called
I'm
Archive?
actually a bit jealous because I would like to watch it, but it's not.
Don't feel bad. I'm not going to a cinema right now because, well, it's just going to be a petri dish for infection.
Yeah. But you can also stream it. I think it's on iTunes.
Cool. I'll look it up tonight.
Yeah.
I'm always down for new science fiction, especially good science fiction, because last night I was watching classic Toho Godzilla movies, which are excellent. They're just not good. All right, so question number 4. Bacon. Does it belong on pizza?
Ooh.
Because the pineapple debate, I'm not interested in that one, because, you know, there are people who believe pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, and there are people who are wrong. Bacon, that's a real question.
Yeah, so personally, I prefer vegetarian pizza, so I prefer no bacon on there.
Okay. Valid response.
I also usually eat vegetarian pizza, but I'm not a vegetarian, so I guess I could eat it.
Okay. Good
It's more
answers.
like a 50-50 answer, I guess. But yeah.
All right. Well, now is question number 5, and it's honestly the only question I care about in all this list. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Ooh.
Ooh. Mm,
And full disclosure, I will not be judging you for this answer.
it's difficult.
It
I
really
like
is.
the flying dinosaurs, like I think Pteranodon or so.
Technically not a dinosaur, but I'll give it to you.
But I also really like the water dinosaurs. This I don't know, Ichthyosaurus or so.
Also, not technically a dinosaur, but I'll give it to you.
Okay, you're welcome.
And for you there, sir?
Well, I would say the pterodactylus, because he's a flying awesome dinosaur. I'm not sure if you would say it's not a dinosaur.
Well, it isn't, but pterodactyls are pterosaurs, which are cousins of dinosaurs, but different, as are the marine reptiles such as the ichthyosaurs, pliosaurs, plesiosaurs, and mosasaurs. Also related, but different. Man, you guys are from Germany. You have you're the home of one of the greatest fossils of all time, the Archaeopteryx, which was the fossil that put us on the path to understanding that birds are descended from dinosaurs and that dinosaurs had feathers.
Probably all of them.
So
imagine a T-Rex with feathers. That's a crazy thought.
Dude, everybody goes like, "Oh, I can't be scared of something with feathers," and I'm like, dude, you've never had a 6-foot wingspan owl flying at you before. You know, yeah. I used to be a falconer, so I've done some you know, I have plenty of reason to be scared of birds, but I'm not. That said, though, favorite dinosaur, Stegosaurus. With the plates and the spiky tail.
Oh yeah, that's also a cool one.
Yeah, fucking ostriches, man. Yeah, dude. A friend of mine in chat says that you know, lions don't eat ostriches. You know why? Because an ostrich can kill a lion with a kick. Animals in Africa only go for ostriches when they're desperate. That's basically it, which is nice. Or cheetahs that have learned how to hunt in groups because they've figured out how to do it. So go mammals, we figured it out. But yeah, no, birds are awesome. And yeah, man, like I think about a feathered T-Rex and I'm just like, of course they can. They're also the only animal in the animal kingdom to win a war against mankind. It's official and it's on Wikipedia. Send me a link to that because I want to see this. But yeah, well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. It was awesome having you on the show.
Yeah,
it was
thank
a pleasure.
you for having us.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like, yeah, I mean, you know, like Hell yeah. So before we go,
One thing though, one
oh.
thing. Sorry.
I'll go
Just
for it.
in addition to the dinosaur question, in case you actually really come to Berlin, we have a really awesome, I'm not sure if it's called Brachiosaurus in
Yes.
English. Yeah. We have
Oh,
a
I know.
huge Brachiosaurus skeleton in the Berlin Museum for Nature, and you should definitely check it out. It's crazy.
Fun
Awesome.
fact, and I'm not 100% certain on this because I haven't checked up on it in a long time, but the last time I checked on it, your museum that has the Brachiosaurus skeleton is the only one that has one fully assembled because it's freaking massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I would absolutely go see that. Because yeah. So I you know how like when kids have a tendency of like loving dinosaurs, I never grew out of that. Ever. And if I ever do, that's the day I like quit my job and I go become an accountant because my life is boring. So, well, gentlemen, where can people find you on the internet to keep up with Dorfromantik and keep up with you?
Well, we have a pretty active Twitter account. It's _Toukana. I'll just post it here.
Well, actually,
and then we also have our itch page on itch.io. You can check out Dorfromantik there. You can download the free prototype version and play it and let us know what you think. We will post a devlog now and then, probably. You can also play one of our older small ideas. It's called the Mice Guys. It's a very small strategy game. Yeah, and we have a Twitch account. One of us is in the Twitch chat, and you can talk to us there too if you want. Toukana Interactive.
Yep.
Yeah, and probably sometime in August we will launch our Steam page, and then there will be a wish list, and you should all wishlist Dorfromantik.
When that happens, shoot me a message.
We will.
Because then I can just very easily just retweet the just throw the YouTube link for this, which will be coming out tomorrow. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit that bell. Yeah, I think that was the smoothest I've ever managed to pull that plug off. But yeah, so I'll just very quickly just send that tweet back out and be like, hey, you know, there's also, it's now on Steam, you can wishlist it.
Thank you.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Like,
helps a lot.
Yeah. You know, I love getting an opportunity to sit down and talk with people who actually care about what they're doing. And if there's something I can do then to just also help and boost their voice in that matter, I'm super down to do it. So you guys are making a game that you care about, that other people care about. Hell yeah, I'm going to give you guys the help that I can. So it's that simple. Now, for the people on your team who are watching now in Toukana Interactive, once I got you guys to dab, they may have said new gift for the group chat. You're welcome. That's what I say. So, hey, you know what? It's the price you guys pay for doing the air quotes easy work of talking with me for the last hour and a half. So, well, gentlemen, thank you all for being here. It was an absolute pleasure. I'll be back with you in just a minute, but now it's time for me to switch to my fancy close-up camera angle and say, hello, audience. Thank you for being here. It's so lovely having you. It doesn't matter if it's morning, evening, night, middle of the night like I did once. Not going to happen again. But thank you all for showing up. If you've had fun here, please go ahead and hit that follow button. Most of the time, I'm doing this show 4 to 5 days a week, talking with game developers, artists, actors, voice actors, performance actors, like basically anyone that I think is remotely cool that I can get on the show. Hell, I'm talking with a friend of mine right now who is an artist for children's books, and you're all probably like, children's books? Dude, his art is top notch, and he's painted a few Magic cards as well. So, thank you all for being here. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon with the last show of the week at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be having virtual reality artist VR Rosie on. She's awesome. And so that's going to be really fun. Taking Friday off because getting work done around the house, and we'll be back on Sunday night with a community game night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to join us, just hit me up with a message, you know what I mean. And we'll be playing some more Unfortunate Spacemen this week because we had a stupid amount of fun playing it this past weekend, and I want to have a stupid amount of fun again. So thank you all for joining us. I will see you all tomorrow on the next brand new episode of That Thom Clancy Show. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Wear your mask, drink your water, and I'll see you all next time.